Welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. Mortgages are made easy at Century Next. Visit cnext.bank for more. Happy Tuesday. And as folks get ready to head off for lunch, the fog's gone, but the clouds are starting to sneak back in as we set up for the afternoon hours. Your forecast today made possible by ServPro Monroe, West Monroe. Whether it's water or fire damage, mold, or storm repair, call or click today. The fog from this morning, as I mentioned, is mixed out of the atmosphere pretty efficiently for most locations. But as you take a look at the visible satellite, you can see the fog starting to vanish, but then also replaced by the afternoon cloud cover. Really don't expect it to bring much in the way of rainfall. Check out the radar shows most of the rain is out over the Ohio Valley as it was this morning. We do have a window of opportunity with some daytime heating to maybe bubble up a shower or storm today. I'm not overly optimistic about it. We've dropped the rain chances quite a bit for most of the area through the rest of the day. And then we'll bring the cold front through the area tomorrow, and that could scour out some showers as well. The front, as it is painted right now, kind of sits over the Ozarks, and 72 currently in Fayetteville, 81 in Little Rock, 83 in Monroe, 84 in Alexandria. So, again, we are going to set up temperatures to land in the upper end of the 80s this afternoon. It'll be another warm day, and then the cold front moves through progressively through the day tomorrow. Some folks will benefit from the front tomorrow, others won't. I think the best chance of really seeing some cooler, drier air tomorrow will be across southern Arkansas. Temperatures right now here locally, 84 in Camden, 83 in Monroe, 82 in Monticello, 85 in Winsboro. So some spots a little warmer than others, and again, aiming for highs to land in the upper end of the 80s, or at least the mid-80s in most spots. Check out wind speeds, generally out of the northwest in the 5 to 10 mile an hour range. That's helping to mix up the atmosphere a little bit and get rid of that morning fog. And dew points are still quite high in the low to mid-70s, kind of a soupy, almost tropical-like atmosphere. Again, we moved that trough of low pressure, and it brought all of the moisture with it. The trough kind of washed out, moved off to the north, but it leaves the moisture in its wake. So now we need something to come through and kind of reset the atmosphere. That's what the cold front does tomorrow. If you followed me for an extended period of time, you know that I like to term cold fronts this time of year almost like a squeegee. They just sweep through the atmosphere and they'll scour out whatever moisture is available. And that's what happens over the next 48 hours. Note dew points don't really budge much tonight, and into the morning hours tomorrow, most of us are still pretty muggy to start. But note those dew points are starting to fall into the low 60s across southern Arkansas, and that drier air starts to push in through the course of the day. It's a more subtle fall into the low to mid-60s through the day on Wednesday, but note as we work into Wednesday night and Thursday, that drier air really punches in. Dew points could fall firmly into the 40s and 50s in many locations. I think 50s are a pretty safe bet, and that could pave overnight lows into the upper 50s in some spots as well. Maybe even the low to mid-50s across southern Arkansas for a morning or two. Check out the tropical satellite, and if you joined us this morning, I told you that this big blob that had a 90% chance of tropical development may just bypass the tropical depression status altogether and just skip straight to a tropical storm. That is exactly what has happened. We have Tropical Storm Jerry, not Jared, Jerry. Funny story, when I was a kid, maybe it's not a funny story, it's a story. That's the name that anytime anybody, what's your name? When I was a little kid, I'd go Jared, and they'd go Jerry, and I'd go no. So I really have a lot of angst and bitterness towards this name. For no reason, I guess. But anyway, Tropical Storm Jerry has formed out over the open Atlantic. Maximum sustained winds 45 miles per hour. The 5-day cone carries it off to the west, and most locations in the northern Leeward Islands need to keep an eye on this storm. Obviously, that's not us, but if you have interest in those areas, you may want to let them be aware of that. But overall, most locations in the U.S. not really expecting any direct impacts in the short term. We'll watch its long-term progress to see where it goes, but in the short term, expected to become Hurricane Jerry over the next few days. And again, in the short term, not really expected to impact us much. Gloria, you said, love to be able to hear your voice. I'm glad somebody does. I produce all this content through the day, so I have to sit here and listen to myself, and I didn't realize how annoying that would be. At least for myself. High temperatures today back in the mid to upper 80s. Some spots certainly possible could see the 90-degree mark. And so be prepared for that as we go through the afternoon. It'll be a warm day if you have some late afternoon plans. Overnight lows into tomorrow morning fall back into the mid to upper 60s. Some low 70s in the southern parishes and counties, but the drier, cooler air will start to invade the area as we go through the day. Kathy, Patty, thank you so much for joining in, and happy Tuesday to you folks. But as you go into Wednesday, I think it tells the better story in terms of the northern counties and parishes, really the northern counties in southern Arkansas and western Mississippi, have the best chance of seeing low to mid-80s or maybe low 80s versus the rest of the area still kind of stuck in the mid, maybe even the mid to upper 80s. So that front, as it works its way through the daytime hours on Wednesday, really brings the more dramatic changes, if you will, for the latter part of this week. So the front makes its way through Wednesday. Highs fall back into the low to mid-80s Thursday, Friday. It is not out of the realm of possibilities in southern Arkansas for Thursday and Friday, and maybe into western Mississippi, maybe even far northern Louisiana. Some of you folks may get stuck in the upper 70s. I say get stuck. I don't think anybody's going to complain about it, but that's a possibility that you may not even see the 80-degree mark for a day or two. Morning lows will fall back into the upper 50s for Friday morning and Saturday morning. Some locations could see the low to mid-50s. Some computer models suggesting El Dorado, Camden, some of those spots could see 53, 54 degrees to start on a couple of those mornings. Mainly sunshine through the upcoming weekend and into the first of next week, so some drier conditions. We are starting to look at some larger pattern changes that could include a stronger cold front late next week. Way too early to speculate on whether that brings rain or storms or it actually even develops, but those are the kind of signals that we're looking at as we head toward the middle and maybe the end parts of October. That's pretty much all I have for you today. Also, quick app update for those that are following along with that process. We do have both of our trial versions up and running, and we're running through those here locally in-house to make sure that everything looks great. We should be hopefully set to send those off to our app stores, prospective app stores in the next couple of days. Then it takes about a week or up to a week. So again, we're thinking sometime in October is a very firm or a very solid, confident bet at this point. At least that's what we're hoping. So excited to bring that to you as soon as it's available. I'll let you know. May, thanks so much for hopping in. Mary asked, do your rain dance? No, absolutely not. You know, funny story about that rain dance. First off, I don't even have that suit. I don't even have those shoes anymore. But that was on an old beta tape. I don't think people even know what a beta tape is, but it was an old type of tape that was used in the broadcast industry. And you can't really find anything that even plays those tapes anymore. That shows your age. If that doesn't show your age, I don't know what is. What does. Fish and Game comes up later today. That's brought to you by First South Farm Credit. We'll have a look at your forecast later this evening. If anything pops up between now and then, I'll let you know. You can always check the latest forecast, the latest radar at digitalweatherdesk.com. Thanks so much for hopping in on this Tuesday, and as always, I am so glad you're here. Have a